Welcome, true believers. The best Spider-Man game of all time has arrived, and it has arrived exclusively on the PlayStation 4 thanks to those guys at Insomniac Games, who have done an incredible job making a Spidey experience us fans could really enjoy. In this video you're going to get the full My Games Lounge review for Spider-Man PlayStation 4 with me, Respawn Roscoe, as I, from a kid who enjoyed Mega Drive Spider-Man with Spider-Man vs. the Kingpin, come all the way through to this point in 2018 to review the best Spider-Man game I have ever played, and that includes the PS1 classic, Spider-Man 2 and Web of Shadows. They were all good Spider-Man games, but this one comes right in at the top. I want to know what you think of this Spider-Man game. Gamers, do get in those comments and let me know if this is the best one of all time for you. But let's have a look at the review, which you can read on mygameslounge.com through the link in the description. When you think about a Spider-Man game, the first thing that always comes into my head anyway is swinging around those giant buildings in Manhattan, diving off something ridiculously tall, getting as close to the ground as you can and swinging up whilst leaping and bounding across the city at great pace. With this game you get exactly that. This is the biggest focus that they've put into the open world. It's getting around it and making you feel like Spider-Man, like nothing can stop you getting to where you need to go. You've got swinging, zipping, and you can bound across the city as easily as anything, making New York your playground. You swing around using the R2 button and you can move easily through the buildings, but if you need a little bit of a boost, you can use L2 to zoom in on where you want to go to zip points, and as you reach them you can stop and check out what you're doing, or press X and burst of speed over the building and straight back into your swinging. It really is smooth, and when a building does get in the way you'll just sprint right up it, or you'll just bounce right across it and go straight into a wall crawl. Traversal is so good in Spider-Man. I fast travelled a total of 5 times. Why? Because there's a trophy for travelling fast travel on the subway 5 times, and that's the only reason I did it, to get the platinum. This truly is the best web slinging of all time in a game, and that really does make Spider-Man feel just right. But there's not only that, because the combat mechanics, inspired by the Arkham series, really do make you feel like you're taking on your enemies as Spider-Man. Insomniac promised us a Spider-Man game that where you had combat you would feel just like Spider-Man, and that's exactly what they've delivered. You're agile, you're fast, you can launch your enemies into the air, get combos build up in the air, slam them down to the ground, and throw people around and web them up with your various gadgets. It doesn't feel like a clone of the Arkham series, even though it borrows some of those controls with the action and counter buttons, but you really do feel like the Spider as you slip through people's legs and web people to walls, bounce off walls and take people down. It really is fast, smooth, and not only that, it develops with you as the game goes on. One of your other tools is also stealth. You've got plenty of opportunities to sneak up on enemies from above or behind, or just swing and take them down really quickly and stop people from detecting you and make things a little bit easier when the combat does kick off. There's also the chance to take on other characters during the story and certain missions, where you'll be playing as Mary Jane Watson and you'll be playing as Miles Morales, taking out guards, avoiding detection, and generally stealthing your way around to help Spider-Man through the guise of your other characters. I found these broke up the missions, but there were some people in the team that found those missions frustrating. They are one of those ones that will appeal to you personally, and it really will depend on how much you like stealth. You're never in those missions for too long, and you're soon back with the Spider. Insomniac Games, in terms of gameplay, have delivered something that makes you feel just like Spider-Man. The traversal options, the action combat, the stealth, everything makes this the ultimate Spider-Man experience to play, and you'll be coming back for more and more.
You're amazing.
Before release, there were these wild rumours that the Spider-Man PlayStation 4 experience had taken a downgrade in graphics, but that has soon been proved to be complete nonsense, as lots of studies on the game have shown that it's actually taken an upgrade, and to play on the PlayStation 4 Pro, it looks absolutely gorgeous. Even close up with the characters in cutscenes where you can see every little detail on Spider-Man's suit. Mary Jane's detail on her face is exceptionally well captured, as is all the characters throughout this experience. Out in the open world, things load beautifully. The swinging and the speed in which you're traversing across the city never seems to affect the gameplay at all. The only thing to get in the way of this game is a few bugs, which we'll discuss later in the video. In terms of the actual presentation of the game, the menus are slick, easy to use, and you can quite quickly get over to upgrading your systems, which we'll again look at later in the features. The one thing I do want to say here is the outstanding delivery of the voice acting in this game. Yuri Lowenthal, as the exceptional Spider-Man that he is throughout the game, really delivers a fantastic performance as Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Laura Bailey delivers another fantastic voice acting performance and makes Mary Jane the best Mary Jane Watson outside of a comic. Plus, there's some amazing supporting acting roles as well, including William Saylors as Dr. Octavius, plus there's so many more to mention. I should also point out the soundtrack to this game is wonderful as you're swinging around, as you're taking on your missions. Everything about the sound and visuals of what you experience in Spider-Man on the PlayStation 4 is a wonderful achievement. They've really delivered such quality here.
Herman! Long time no see. Hey, I'm no lawyer, but I'm pretty sure that's a parole violation.
Even though gamers apparently don't want them anymore, Spider-Man at its heart is a single-player story, and it's absolutely wonderful. You get to enjoy it and experience it as Spider-Man, but also Peter Parker, and then there's the supporting cast that come in. Mary Jane and Miles Morales play big parts, as well as what seems like a very peaceful businessman in Martin Lee. Plus you've got the classic characters come into it, including Wilson Fisk and Norman Osborn. Everybody plays a big part in this story, and it's not just one level either. There's quite a lot of emotion involved in the story, and as it gets towards its dramatic conclusion, you'll soon see how much you actually cared about these characters as you flowed through this very, very deep and meaningful story, with everything being delivered so perfectly. It does drive you on, but at the same time there's so much to distract you in the open world, you will find yourself getting addicted to taking on some of the extra missions too. Outside of the main story, you've got things like towers to make sure you capture so you can see all the crimes that come up, which will activate things like random crimes for you to go and solve. You've also got lots of bases to take over by various different areas, and you've also got lots of fun to be Spider Cop as you take on side missions to help the police and to help out various other characters. You've even got some pigeons to go and chase, which seems a little bit random, but then it is Spider-Man and it is fun. Unfortunately, the main spider in the game isn't the only bug to be found. There are quite a lot of open world bugs in Spider-Man PlayStation 4, which is a little bit disappointing even at this point after a few patches. I still had a few game crashes, and there were quite a few open world issues where enemies would get stuck in things or something would go slightly wrong with Spider-Man's positioning. It is a little bit disappointing to say that such a polished experience could be kind of dented by these little issues. There's also the fact to point out that some of the things in the open world, whilst addictive and fun, aren't anything we haven't seen in other games before. There's lots of challenges to do, there's lots of things to collect, and there are lots of bases to take over and things to enjoy. The thing is, Insomniac haven't actually delivered anything outside of the expected for an open world game of this type. But it is a little bit nitpicky to say, and none of this spoiled the experience whatsoever. It's hugely addictive, and I couldn't stop myself until I did every area to 100% and got that shiny platinum trophy. It made me do it with the exceptional gameplay, wonderful story, and just feeling like being Spider-Man. This really is a must-play adventure. Spider-Man is exactly the game I personally wanted when I knew that Insomniac Games were developing this. It's an amazing game that is stunning to look at, it's amazingly voice acted with a wonderful story that really does hit home, especially as things draw to the conclusion. You get webs swinging around and you simply cannot stop doing all the things in the city. The answer to the question is unequivocally yes, you should play this game. It has everything that you could possibly want in it, and as a console exclusive, its #1 goal is to make you want to play the game and buy the console in order to do it. It does that. It is the perfect exclusive for the PlayStation 4 to get more people to come into it. It's a wonderful game, and one that I would expect anyone to enjoy, even if you wanted to do it just for the story. I'm going to give this game a legendary rating, which is something on mygameslounge.com. You can find out more about our review system there, but that basically means that it is one excellent game and you really should be picking it up. Let me know if you're going to, guys. Will you be buying it? Get that in the comments. If you've bought it already, let me know what you think of it, and please do get involved with us on My Games Lounge. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share this around so more people can get the review of this incredible game. Thank you for watching, guys. I'm going to let you go with all the videos that are coming next on the My Games Lounge YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.
I will not be so gentle.
Girl problems again.